So this 10-minute hip strength workout is going to be great for you if you've got scoliosis. Maybe you have uneven hips, which can often contribute to lower back pain. And we're going to go straight into it. You won't need anything for this workout, and we're going to start lying down on the back. So have your feet hip distance apart. Just maybe the heels a little bit closer in towards you, as we're going to start with our glute bridges. We're going to have the arms alongside the body. And just take a couple of breaths here. First of all, just to let yourself settle into the ground, especially the rib cage. Finding that contact with the floor. Good. So let's get started here with our bridges. We're going to take an exhale and we're going to push the feet into the floor to lift up through the hips. Now see if you can feel that little bit of a squeeze of those bottom muscles as you lift up. What we're trying to avoid is pushing the chest up here. So we're going to keep the chest nice and soft and then slowly lowering ourselves down. So we really want to get into those glutes, as it's called a glute bridge. So we exhale to lift and then inhale to lower. Exhale, little squeeze of those bottom muscles. Inhale to lower. Good, let's keep going and maybe just noticing, does it feel symmetrical around the hips? And we're just waking up those muscles here right now. Good, and let's do another 2. Inhale, exhale to push up. Good, and then last one. Good, nice. And then from there, we're gonna roll over to the side. We're gonna come into side lying. So we're gonna have the bottom arm straight up over the head. If this is uncomfortable to rest your head down like this, you can add a little bit of a cushion or rolled up blanket or anything for support here. Now, my members in my membership know we have a little bit more of a curve-specific setup, of course. So if you know what you need to do, feel free to go ahead with that. Otherwise, don't worry about it, because the most important thing is to start and to get going. So we're going to bend our knees, heels in line with the hips. And what you want to avoid is just kind of letting yourself kind of be dragged down into the floor, and that would shorten one side of the waist. So we want to make sure we keep both sides of the waist nice and long. So there'll be a little bit of a lift from the underside of the body here. And then we're just going to extend that top leg. That's it. So just in line with the rest of the body, and we're just going to start with a lift and lower. So we're going to lift the leg and lower it down. But I want you to make sure that nothing else is changing here. So if I lift my leg up too high, I'm going to sink into my waist. So I'm just going to keep it a little bit lower because I'm interested in working with those hip muscles. Now, foot is going to point on the way up, flex on the way down. Point on the way up, flex on the way down. And we exhale on the way up, inhale on the way down. Good, just nice, controlled, smooth movements. Again, it's not about how high you lift the leg. It's about activating those muscles around the outside of the leg. Really, really important. It's going to help you with walking, running, being on your feet generally. Good, last one. And then we're going to come into our clam. So we're going to bend that top knee. Heels on top of each other, feet together, and we're going to lift the top knee and then slowly lowering it down. So make sure you're not rolling back here, but you keep your top hip facing forwards or even slightly down to really get into those glutes here. So exhale, little squeeze, inhale to lower. Making sure that there's no tension in the upper body. We're just really focusing on the lower body today. Creating that support system. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Good, last two. You might feel it by now, and that's what we want. We want those muscles to be a little bit tired. Let's do one more here. We're going to stretch out the top leg, and we're going to draw some circles with the legs. So they should be about the size of a tennis ball. No bigger than that, and nothing else is changing. This is where you need your core muscles. Good, pointing the foot. So imagine the leg is a pencil and you're drawing that tennis ball size circle. Let's take it the other way round. Good, and then let's change direction one more time. Good, 3, 2, 1. Good job. And then let's release and give those muscles a little squeeze. And then we're going to come over to the other side. So setting yourself up for the other side here. Again, the bottom arm is up over the head. Hips are stacked on top of each other. Again, you want to make sure you're not sinking down into the floor, but there's a little bit of a lift. So you can keep both sides of the waist nice and long. And then if you've got your alignment, we're going to extend that top leg. And we're going to start with our lift and lower. So keep it small to begin with, so you can check where's that point where you start to kind of sink into the spine. That would be way too high for me, so I'm keeping it lower. Lift and lower. So we point on the way up, flex on the way down. Point on the way up, flex on the way down. With a breath, exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Good, that's it. So starting again to maybe feel those muscles. And it's always interesting to notice if there's one side that gets fatigued a little bit earlier than the other, then we know, then we've got that information that we need to work with it a little bit more. Good, just a couple of more. Last one. And then let's do our clam. So feet together, top hip, slightly facing down, and we start to lift that top leg and lower down. So exhale, feel the little bit of a squeeze. This is definitely my more difficult side. Good. So the lifting is just as important as the lowering down. You want to make sure you lower down with as much as control as you lift away from the floor. Good, so the muscles are being strengthened in the shorter and the longer position. Last two. Good, and then let's extend that top leg and we'll go into our leg circle. So no bigger than a tennis ball. Nothing else is changing. Core is switched on. Nice and stable. Good, and then let's change direction. Probably feeling those muscles by now. Good, let's change direction. One more time. Good, well done. And then let's release and just give the muscles a little squeeze here. And we're going to come back to lying down on the back. Well, let's come back to our glute bridges. So feet hip distance apart. Inhale, exhale, lift up, a little bit of a squeeze. Just feel, see if it feels any different. Exhale. Inhale to lower. Good, so we've really woken up all those little muscles and big muscles. So hopefully you feel that you're getting a little bit more support from both sides here, not just one side wanting to take over. Good, nice. Last one, and then let's just bring the knees in towards the chest. Have a little stretch here, so stretching out those glutes. Just rocking from side to side. So if you want to use your Pilates practice to make sure your scoliosis doesn't get worse and avoid back pain, there's a few things that you need to avoid. Watch this video here where I go through the main things you need to stop doing in Pilates when you have scoliosis.